Assalamu alaikum. Grade 9. Faiza Nadeem, your English teacher, is standing here in front of you, wishing, hoping, praying that all of you are hale and hearty, happy and safe. And every one of us is hoping that you have prepared for your final exams. ठीक है? बहुत बड़ा आपका लैंडमार्क होता है फाइनल एग्जाम देना और बहुत बड़ी अचीवमेंट होती है इसको फ्लाइंग कलर्स से पास करना. तो आई होप that all of you have prepared for your final exams. What I have brought test paper number 3 today. और ये test paper number 3 है The Kites Pakistan, unit number 6 from the textbook. So without further ado, let's start the test paper. Alright, grade 9. As my board shows you, your paper is going to be divided into 2 different parts. पहला आपका होता है ऑब्जेक्टिव जो 19 मार्क्स का होता है 20 मिनट्स का. दूसरा होता है आपका सब्जेक्टिव जो 56 मार्क्स का होता है 2 आवर्स और 20 मिनट्स का. ठीक है. ऑब्जेक्टिव पेपर के लिए जो आपको 19 मार्क्स मिलते हैं वो सारे के सारे मिलते हैं करेक्ट सॉल्यूशन ऑफ द एमसीक्यूज. एमसीक्यूज क्या होते हैं? एमसीक्यूज मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चंस होते हैं और आपने उनकी जो करेक्ट ऑप्शन होती है वो बबल शीट पे कलर करनी होती है. मल्टीपल टाइम्स मैं अपने हर लेक्चर में आपको बता चुकी हूँ और आज फिर बताऊंगी कि बबल शीट को बहुत 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 केयरफुली सॉल्व करना. ऐसा ना हो कि आपसे गलती से 2 बबल्स कलर हो जाएं और स्कैन होने में वो डिस्क्वालीफाई हो जाएं. तो बेटो बहुत टाइम होता है आराम से पहले पेपर्स पे एमसीक्यू सॉल्व करना और फिर आप उसको अपनी बबल शीट पे कलर करना. राइट? बहुत टाइम होता है. आपने इतनी प्रैक्टिस की हुई है ना, इंशाल्लाह आपको कोई मुश्किल नहीं होगी. राइट? सो लेट्स स्टार्ट टुडेज पेपर. आपके एमसीक्यूज जनरली तो आते हैं एक लाइन में 19 के 19, पर मैंने आपको सब डिवाइड करके ये क्लैरिफाई किया है कि कितने एमसीक्यूज किस स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक से रिलेटेड आ सकते हैं. ठीक है. उनमें से जो फर्स्ट 5 एमसीक्यूज मैं और मेरे साथ सारी टीम आपके लिए लेके आई है वो है चूज द करेक्ट फॉर्म ऑफ वर्ब एंड फिल इन द बबल शीट. ठीक है. और ये जो फर्स्ट 5 एमसीक्यूज है उनका एमसीक्यू नंबर 1 आपसे ये कह रहा है शी डैश हर वर्क बिफोर द गेस्ट अराइव्स. शी finished, finishing और will finish. अब guest arrives जो है simple present tense है but it's denoting the future. तो she will finish her work before the guests arrive. ठीक है. will finish यहाँ पे लगेगा, future tense लगेगा. MCQ number 2. She will dash to see me, comes, come, be coming और came. खेम तो रूल आउट कर दें क्योंकि खेम तो बेटा पास्ट टेंस है, ये विल लगा हुआ है. तो कम्स भी रूल आउट कर दें क्योंकि विल के साथ वर्ब के अंदर एस नहीं लगा हुआ होता. अब आपका काम रह गया है कम या बी कमिंग. तो यहाँ पर आएगा शी विल बी कमिंग. ठीक है. विल के साथ यूजुअली जो ऑक्सिलरी वर्ब लगता है वो होता है बी. सो शी विल बी कमिंग टू सी मी. ऑप्शन नंबर 3. I dash the paper then. Read, shall be reading, am reading या reads. I के साथ reads नहीं है. D ऑप्शन को rule out कर दें. I am reading the newspaper then. ठीक है. At that time. Incorrect. ठीक है. So am reading भी rule out कर दें. Shall be reading the newspaper then is the correct option. यानी उस वक्त मैं वो न्यूज़पेपर रीड कर रही हूँगी या कर रहा हूँगा. ठीक है. तो यहाँ पर शैल भी रीडिंग लगेगा और इसी तरह रीड या रेड भी इनकरेक्ट है. इधर कहीं भी आपको ये नहीं बताया जा रहा कि ये प्रेजेंट टेंस में है या पास्ट टेंस में है. सो अवॉइड यूजिंग रेड. मैंगोज डैश द मार्केट बाय अप्रैल. रीच्ड, रीच, will have reached या are reaching. Mangoes are reaching the market by April doesn't sound correct. ठीक है. Mangoes reach incorrect या mangoes reached इज इनकरेक्ट. कहीं भी क्लैरिफाई नहीं किया जा रहा कि ये प्रेजेंट है या पास्ट टेंस, सो अवॉइड यूजिंग देम. यहाँ पे आप लिखेंगे मैंगोज विल हैव रीच्ड द मार्केट बाय April. Next is last MCQ in this specific category. The juggler will have been dashed the show since 5 o'clock. Perform, performs, performed या performing. The juggler will have been. ठीक है, यानी कि ये आपका present perfect continuous tense है. तो यहाँ पे आपका आएगा performing, right? Will have been is the identification of present perfect continuous tense और यहाँ पर आपका performing यानी ऑप्शन डी जो है वो करेक्ट आंसर है. जो नेक्स्ट सेट ऑफ MCQs है वो 4 MCQs है और उसमें आपने चूज द करेक्ट स्पेलिंग करनी है. ये याद रखिएगा कि होपफुली बाय दिस टाइम यू हैव गिवन मल्टीपल ऑफ स्पेल चेक्स एंड डिक्टेशंस एंड यू हैव वेरी गुड स्पेलिंग्स. ठीक है, और देख के थोड़ा सा समझ भी लेना. ये कोई बहुत मुश्किल काम नहीं है. कोई कॉमन सेंस भी यूज करोगे ना तो करेक्ट स्पेलिंग आपको आइडेंटिफाई हो जाएगी. पहली स्पेलिंग है इमर्जेंस और उसकी ऑप्शन ए इज करेक्ट, EMERGENCE. नेक्स्ट इज न्यूमरस और उसकी जो है वो ऑप्शन डी इज करेक्ट, NUMEROUS. थर्ड है आपकी लिटरेचर, आपका MCQ नंबर 8 और उसकी ऑप्शन सी LITERATURE, लिटरेचर इज करेक्ट. और नाइन्थ है इनॉमिटी और उसकी ऑप्शन बी इज करेक्ट, ENORMITY. राइट. जो नेक्स्ट कैटेगरी है MCQs की उसमें आपने करना है चूज द करेक्ट मीनिंग ऑफ द अंडरलाइंड वर्ड्स एंड फिल अप द बबल्स. ठीक है, तो फर्स्ट जो सेंटेंस है आपके लिए MCQ नंबर 10 वो है वी आर अ नेशन he affirmed 3 years before the birth of Pakistan, and the highlighted word is affirmed. You have the options told, said emphatically, broke in या prepared. So the correct answer is option number B, said emphatically. Next MCQ number 11 is we have our own distinctive outlook of life. Distinctive is either distinguish, powerful, wavering or culture, and the correct answer is distinguish. MCQ number 12. We should face it bravely to save the honor of Pakistan and Islam. Prepare, cope with, correct and see. And the correct option is option number B, cope with. MCQ number 13 asks you to give the meaning of self-esteem and the options are horror, honor, hour or shortage. Self-esteem is your honor. Last MCQ of this category, MCQ number 14 is we are divided into bits and pieces and the options are pieces of cloth, united, disunited, or broken, and the correct answer is disunited, right? The next category as far as your MCQs are concerned are choose the correct option according to the grammar and fill up the bubbles. Your first MCQ is he is fond of cooking and the underlined word is a gerund. The next is you are free to go to your houses and the underlined word is an infinitive. जहाँ भी verb के साथ to लगेगा वो आपका infinitive होगा, right? To go is an infinitive which is option number B of your MCQs. Ali ran quickly. Underlined word is a verb, adverb, noun या adjective. Quickly is definitely describing how Ali ran and it's an adverb. Next is she was singing last Sunday. And you have to tell what sort of adverb this is. Is it an adverb of manner, time, place or frequency? Last Sunday is the adverb of time. So option B, time is correct. MCQ number 19. She was singing beautifully at a concert. And you have to again describe what sort of adverb this is, and at a concert is not a adverb of time, neither a simple adverb nor an adjective, it is an adverb of place. ठीक है, कहाँ singing कर रही थी beautifully? Concert में. So this is your adverb of place. ये थे बेटा कुछ MCQs जो आपका द काइट्स पाकिस्तान के साथ रिलेट कर रहे थे, ठीक है। अब हम आते हैं अपने सब्जेक्टिव पेपर की तरफ। सब्जेक्टिव पेपर में जो पहला क्वेश्चन होता है वो आपका होता है 10 मार्क्स का, यानी आपको आउट ऑफ 8 कोई से भी 5 क्वेश्चंस के आंसर्स देने होते हैं और उन आंसर्स के ईच के मार्क्स होते हैं मैक्सिमम 2, यानी कि इफ यू विल गिव 5 answers correctly you can go for maximum 10 marks, right? तो पहला क्वेश्चन आपका ये है, हाउ मच कॉन्फिडेंस डिड कायदे आजम हैव इन हिज नेशन? एंड द आंसर इज कायदे आजम हैड मच कॉन्फिडेंस इन हिज नेशन बिकॉज ही बिलीव्ड दैट हिज नेशन was made of sterling material and is second to none. लेकिन ये याद रखिएगा कि इस आंसर से पहले आपने उसकी हेडिंग जरूर देनी है, कॉन्फिडेंस ऑफ कायदे आजम। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन नंबर 2, what was the Kite's concept of our nation? And the answer is the Kite's concept of our nation was that the Muslims were a separate nation with their own distinctive culture and civilization, language and literature, art and architecture, names and nomenclature, sense of values and proportion, legal laws and moral codes, customs and calendar, history and tradition, aptitude and ambitions. He said that they had their own distinctive outlook in life. Option number 3. What was the ideology of Pakistan in view of Quaid-e-Azam? Again, as in my previous questions, you will have to give the heading first. And the heading for this answer is Ideology of Pakistan. Your answer will start like this. The ideology of Pakistan in view of Quaid-e-Azam was based on the fundamental principles that the Muslims were an independent nation and any attempt to get them merge their national and political identity would be strongly resisted, right? Question number 4. What can be the possible solution to our present problems? Again, the heading, the possible solution to our present problems, and your answer, the solution of our present problems is that we should follow the Qaid's golden motto, faith, unity and discipline. We should work hard and try to become a strong nation. Option number or your question number 4. How can we become a strong nation? And the heading, way to become a strong nation. We can become a strong nation by following the principle and advices given by our Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Question number 6. Why did the Qaid have to take long tours during the early days of the independence? And your heading is reasons for long tours, and the answer is he had to take long tours to build confidence and raise people's spirit. Option number 7. Why did the Qaid want the oneness of the whole nation? And the answer is reason for oneness of nation. He wanted so to make the whole nation strong and united. Your last question for today's paper. What is the result of neglecting the advice of the Qaid? And the answer is result of neglecting the advice of Qaid. We have become disunited. There is no harmony between people. So that is why we are facing many difficulties in every field of life. This was your question number 1 of the subjective paper and question number 2 of the overall English paper. इसके बाद हम मूव ऑन करेंगे क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 जो होता है ट्रांसलेशन। आपको कोई से भी 3 पैराग्राफ आपके सिलेबस में से दे दिए जाते हैं और आपसे कहा जाता है कि यू हैव टू ट्रांसलेट एनी ऑफ द 2 फ्रॉम द गिवन 3 पैराग्राफ्स इनटू उर्दू। मैक्सिमम मार्क्स होते हैं 8, 4 मार्क्स होते हैं ईच पैराग्राफ के। आई होप बाय दिस टाइम आपने अपने ट्रांसलेशन पैराग्राफ सारे प्रैक्टिस कर लिए होंगे। जो पैराग्राफ्स मैं आपके लिए आज लेके आई हूँ वो हैं नंबर 1, ठीक है। द एंटायर जर्नी ऑफ द ग्रेट लीडर्स स्ट्रगल फॉर अ सेपरेट होमलैंड फॉर द मुस्लिम्स ऑफ द सबकॉन्टिनेंट was based on the pivot of the Muslim unity and the oneness as a nation. He talked about Pakistan in such clear terms that even a common man could understand it. और इसकी ट्रांसलेशन ये है, बड़े सगीर के मुसलमानों के लिए अलहदा वतन की जिद्दोजहद के लिए अजीम रहनुमा के इस सफ़र की बुनियाद मुस्लिम इत्तेहाद और कौम की वहदत के मरकज़ पर कायम थी। वो पाकिस्तान के बारे में इतनी वाज़ेह इस्तिलाहात में बात करते थे कि आम आदमी भी उसे समझ सकता था। पैराग्राफ 2। Quaid-e-Azam was a man of strong faith and belief. He firmly believed that the new emerging state of Pakistan based on the Islamic principles would reform the society as a whole. In his Eid message, September 1945, Quaid-e-Azam said, Islam is a complete code regulating the whole Muslim society, every department of life collectively and individually. और इसका उर्दू तर्जुमा है, कायद-ए-आज़म पुख्ता ईमान और यकीन रखने वाले आदमी थे। उनका पुख्ता ईमान था कि इस्लामी उसूलों पर मबनी नई उभरती हुई मुमलिकत मजमूई तौर पर मुआशरे की इस्लाह करेगी। सितंबर 1945 में अपने ईद के पैगाम में कायद-ए-आज़म ने फरमाया, इस्लाम एक मुकम्मल ज़ाब्ता है जो पूरे मुस्लिम मुआशरे और ज़िंदगी के हर शोबे को मजमूई और इनफरादी तौर पर चला रहा है। This was paragraph 2. Let's move on to paragraph 3. And your third paragraph of this paper is, today the Qaid's Pakistan is facing challenges. We have forgotten how much struggle the Muslims have made under the dynamic leadership of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. We can overcome our present difficulties by following the Qaid's golden motto, unity, faith and discipline. We can make our nation strong by remembering his advice to the youth. It is now up to you to work, work and work, and we are bound to success. आज का पाकिस्तान बेशुमार मुश्किलात का शिकार है। हम भूल चुके हैं कि मुसलमानों ने कायद-ए-आज़म मोहम्मद अली जिन्नाह की भरपूर क़ियादत में कितनी जिद्दोजहद की है। हम कायद-ए-आज़म के सुनहरी कौल ईमान, इत्तेहाद और तंजीम पर अमल पैरा होकर अपनी मौजूदा मुश्किलात पर काबू पा सकते हैं। हम कायद-ए-आज़म की नौजवानों को नसीहत अब ये आप पर है कि काम काम और बस काम करो और आप लाजमी तौर पर कामयाब होंगे, याद दिलाकर अपनी कौम को मजबूत बना सकते हैं। This was your question number 3 of the subjective paper. Let's move on to question number 4. Question number 4 asks you to construct sentences of any of the 5 given words from the given 8 words. ठीक है, 8 आपको words और phrases दिए हैं, उसमें से 5 के आपने sentences बनाने हैं। Words और phrases हैं bits and pieces, raising spirit, pass through, fall a prey, accused of, sterling, voyage and enormity. मैं आपको सबके sentences construct करके सुना देती हूँ। Bits and pieces. The Muslims of the subcontinent were divided into bits and pieces. Raising spirit. He aimed at raising the people's spirit. Pass through. They passed through a dark and deep forest during their journey. Fell a prey. He fell a prey of bad habits. Accused of. He was accused of the murder. Sterling. Muslims have sterling faith in Allah Almighty. Voyage. He loves his voyage to the hill station. And enormity. Never be afraid of the enormity of the task. Then is a letter, and you have to write a letter to your friend and you have to condole him or her on the death of his or her mother. You will start with examination hall, comma, city ABC with a full stop between A and B and C after C. Dates should be tentative. Leave a line. Start with my dear friend. With indenting, your first paragraph will be, the moment I read your letter, I broke my heart. Reading the news of your mother's death, I went into shock because it was certainly a bolt from the blue for you. The death of your near and dear ones creates physical, mental and emotional upheaval in us. Our emotions fail. Our thinking fails us. It's a tragedy to see our friends and relatives lying on deathbed and breathing their last. The tragic news of your mother's death was an unbearable shock for me. She was an affectionate, noble well-wisher and a loving lady who had always a soft corner for me and for everybody in the world. She was a well-mannered woman who knew the ethics of life. Throughout her life, she remained well known to all those who came close to her. Religious minded as she was, people had always great respect for her. With her death, an era came to an end. A tradition disappeared into the ashes of the past. My dear friend, death is inevitable and we all have to face it one day or the other. The laws of nature are absolute. We have to bow before them. Man is helpless before the will of Allah Almighty or God. Last paragraph. We can do nothing but pray for the departed. The ruthless and cruel hands of fate have snatched your dear mother from you. This is irreparable loss for your family. Who can change the will of God? None can avert the decree of fate. The death of your mother has certainly created a vacuum which will only be filled with the passage of time. Next is, I pray to God that her soul may rest in peace. Ameen. May her virtues, deeds serve as torchlight through the dark valley of our life. I also pray to God to give you courage to face this tragedy patiently, manfully and courageously. Next is, dear friend, have patience and try to share the responsibilities of the family with your father. I will soon come to you to share your deep grief and to condole you at this critical moment of your life. May we always cherish the great moral values upheld by your mother. Please convey my deep and sincere sympathies to your father and the other members of your family with a profound sorrow. Leave a line, yours sincerely, XYZ, and with a full stop between X and Y, Y and Z, and after C. After this, you have an option to write a story on the moral Islam gives the lesson to sacrifice for others. और आपकी ये जो स्टोरी है टुडे जो आपके लिए हम लेके आए हैं वो है Islam has emphasized brotherhood for the development of society in a positive way. Our beloved Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam developed such great values among his companions who set golden examples to be followed by humanity in the later ages. This story relates to an exemplary, heart-touching event of brotherhood in the Battle of Yarmouk. Hazrat Abu Jahan bin Huzaifa Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu narrates that in the Battle of Yarmouk, he was assigned the duty of offering water to the thirsty soldiers. So when he searched for his cousin who was fighting in the battle front, he found that the soldier was seriously injured. Hazrat Abu Jahan Raziyallahu Ta'ala anha carried his water skin to his cousin, breathing his last breaths, and offered him water. When his cousin was about to drink it, he heard the cry of Hazrat Hashim bin al-As Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu. His cousin pointed to Hazrat Abu Hashim Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu that water must be given to him first. As Hazrat Abu Jahan Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu took the water to Hazrat Hisham Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu, they heard cry of another mujahid. Hazrat Hisham asked Abu Jahan to carry the water to that man. Hazrat Abu Jahan took the water to the third soldier, but when he had died before drinking the water, Hazrat Abu Jahan Raziyallahu Ta'ala anha hurried back to Hazrat Hisham Raziyallahu Ta'ala anha, who has also died. Last at all, he returned to his cousin who had also died. Thus, those noble and great persons set a great example for brotherhood by sacrificing their own lives for their Muslim brothers. This was the second option of this question, or the moral of this specific story is that Islam gives the lesson of sacrifice for others and that brotherhood demands sacrifice. The third option is to write a dialogue between a teacher and a student, and if you remember my previous test papers, I have given you this specific dialogue writing between a teacher and a student where a student was late just because he was stuck in the traffic jam. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 6. Question number 6 is a comprehension passage and you have to read the comprehension and answer the questions that are given below. Comprehension passage for today's paper is Hazrat Khalid bin Walid Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu was extremely kind-hearted and just to the people. His army had strict orders not to do any harm to the farmers, aged persons, women, children, and other civilians. They are the real strength of the society, he said. They should always be treated with kindness and respect. This was something new for the conquered people, who felt very happy now. The Iranian and the Byzantine officers were very hard on them. Hazrat Khalid bin Walid Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu's treatment won their hearts so much that they began to hate their cruel old masters. Your first question for this comprehension is, how did Hazrat Khalid bin Walid treated the people? And the answer is, Hazrat Khalid bin Walid was extremely kind-hearted and just to the people. Question number 2, what were the orders given to the army? And the answer is, he had ordered his army not to harm the farmers, aged people, women, children, and other civilians. Question number 3, what did he say about the farmers and the civilians? And the answer is, he said they are the real strength of the society. Next question, how had their former master treated them? Answer is, their former masters had been very hard on them. Next question is, how did Hazrat Khalid bin Walid Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu win the hearts of the conquered people? And the answer is, he won their hearts with kindness and justice. Question number 6, why did the people hate their old master? And the answer is, the people hated their old master for their unkind treatments. Next question, question number 7 is asking you to translate any 5 of the given 8 sentences into their English. Right? 5 sentences आपने given 8 उर्दू के sentences में English में turn करने हैं. पहला sentence है, वो अच्छे बुरे दिनों में हमारा साथ देंगे. और आंसर है, they will stand by us through thick and thin. Next sentence is, तेज गाम आज देर से नहीं आएगी. तेज गाम will not arrive late today. Third is, क्या उसको वालिद की जायदाद विरसे में नहीं मिलेगी? And the answer is, will he not inherit his father's property? Number 4, पागल कुत्ता लोगों को काट रहा होगा. The mad dog will be biting people. Number 5, वो मकान खाली नहीं कर रहे होंगे. They will not be vacating the house. इस इज्तिमा में कई मुल्कों ने हिस्सा लिया होगा. Many countries will have taken part in this gathering. उसने गरीब आदमी का मजाक नहीं उड़ाया होगा. He will not have made fun of the poor man. काफिला एक हफ्ते से आगे नहीं चल रहा होगा. The caravan will not have been moving for 1 week. This was question number 7. Your last question of the paper, question number 8, is asking you to turn the given sentences into their passive voice. He does not like to read the good books. The good books are not liked to be read by him. Active voice. A car ran over an old man. Answer in passive voice. An old man was run over by the car or by a car because it's starting with a. Did you get the scholarship? Answer is, had the scholarship been gotten by you? Next is, why were they beating the boy? And the answer in passive voice is, why was the boy being beaten by them? Last sentence in active voice of today's paper, do not make a noise. And its answer in passive voice is, let a noise not be made. This was today's paper, paper number 3. I hope you have gone through it with me very carefully and elaborately and clearly. All of us standing here or not standing here in front of you is hoping and wishing and praying for you to get the maximum marks. पढ़ते रहो, preparation करते रहो, इंशाल्लाह you'll score the best. जब तक कि मैं आपके साथ दोबारा मिलती हूँ with my next paper, Faiza Nadeem, your English teacher, is signing off now. Allah Hafiz.